Hello, my name is Russ Milheim. I'm from the Direct. Thank you guys for talking with me today.
Thank you.
You?
Now, watching this show, it made me realize that there just simply aren't enough stories being told about ancient Rome. What was your favorite moment about bringing that time period to life?
I mean, my personal favorite moment, like as a sort of, slightly away from the show was being in Rome and going to the original Circus Maximus and walking around the track and thinking like if you just go back 2,000 years, at a certain point, Scorpus and his rivals would have been here in this very spot, riding around this track. That was quite sort of strange and just kind of an odd thought when you're sort of playing this character and you're going, he was here, he was right here. We know that because this is the track, so it had to have been here. I thought that was quite cool. It's rare that you get to sort of have such a time scale as 2,000 years, and try and find a physical connection on this sort of earth that still somehow you're sharing with this person. That was kind of cool for me. Yeah.
For me, was actually, it's funny, the first thing came, so I keep it. It's like my house, like the patrician house. I was like, wow, how did they live, these people? So the beauty of the place with this pond in the middle of the house, these pillars, beautiful gardens, this beautiful lights. So I was really thinking, first of all, another very interesting thing, like the Romans never had a wall white. I just moved into my new house. Besides this wall, that is the new one that is red, everything else in the house is white because I love Parisian houses. They're very white. For the Romans would have been like putting like a white canvas on a wall. So their houses were completely a blast of colors.
Wow.
So that was like immersing myself into totally a different world on the daily life, how they lived. It was very interesting. They had like a portable stove because they moved where they were cooking, and their bedrooms were very, very dark and painted very dark because it was just to sleep. So it was just a different. And then they had this triclivio, the usual chair where they sat and talk and eat the fruit like this. Il triclivio romano. It was full of them because they just faff in there. And the faff, sorry, is an Irish word. My husband is Irish. It means they just relaxed in there. And yeah, and just the otium romano.
I also, watching it, I couldn't help but think of just how this is basically the show is like a more historically accurate Game of Thrones. How do you feel about a comparison like that? Was it ever in the top of your mind while working on it?
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, people brings it up, but it's very different. Game of Thrones is based on a novel, first of all. So, you have like a writing that pre-exists before the script. Here is really like a new show. Obviously, it's based on Daniel Mannick, non-fictional kind of Those About to Die, which is more like an explanation of how the game were, but it's totally a new storytelling. So I don't think you can really make a comparison. I think the comparison comes because it's such an epic world, and because the gallery of characters are so vast. There are so many characters, and they kind of interfere with one another, and they corrupt one another. So that's similar, but I think they're two very different shows.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess the element of ancient Rome that really appeals to me are the elements where it does feel a little bit like fantasy, and simply the fact that it's not how we live today. So, like Gabriella was describing, the way their rooms and their rituals were set out in their day-to-day life. Um, that stuff is really appealing because like, I've been watching House of Dragons, and it's not sometimes the dragons are the cool bit, but sometimes for me it's like just watching them, the ritual of waking up and having a certain room they go to worship, or just the day-to-day differences that because it's 2,000 years ago, it's not fantasy, it's real, but it's so removed from how we live that it does exist in a world of going.
Yeah,
It's almost fantasy. It's grounded, but it's levitating a little bit, is how I would describe it, I guess.
I love
Yeah.
it.
You telling me there's no dragons in ancient Rome? I'm disappointed now.
Well,
Yeah.
we've yet to find evidence, but we will, I think.
We have many animals though.
Yeah, yeah, giraffes and elephants for sure.
Yeah. Hippopotamus, crocodiles.
Yeah.